Hello everyone and welcome to the Thrust or Bust Speedrun Guide. In this stage we will be using the dog power up again. This guide will show you how to get under 35 seconds and even possibly into the 33 second range. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. The rocket powered Bulldog Barkster allows us to get boost whenever we hit either of the trigger buttons. The key to getting a low time in this stage is just like building speed, we want to do as many short boosts as we can possible and avoid doing longer ones if we can as well. If you do not like using the trigger buttons to do the boost, I highly recommend you actually change your controls for this stage because we will be using it the entire stage. So what you need to do is you need to go to your system settings, go down to accessibility, go down to controllers, then custom button assignments for DualSense wireless controller, enable this option, and then you can customize your button assignments. I recommend changing L2 and R2 to the L1 and R1 bumpers, but just use whatever is most comfortable with you. At the beginning of the stage, if you chose to do a restart from the menu, it is very important that you do not immediately run out to the starting ribbon. If you do, you will find that this leaf platform will actually be moving to the right, and that is the last thing that we want. Also, before the stage starts, make sure to point your camera down to the ground. The reason we do this is that these bells do not activate unless they are on screen. This way, we can activate them later, and then we can destroy them a lot faster. Once the stage begins, you do not have to point your camera at the ground anymore. Coming out of the starting line, we need to do 3 small bursts. Once out of the starting line, once to get onto this leaf platform moving to the right, and then once to get up here to where both of these bells are. What we want to do is we want to destroy the right bell and then the left bell. Once you get up here, you're going to want to do a slightly longer than a short boost to this first bell on the right. Whenever you hit this first bell on the right, you get a refresh on your boost so you can immediately go to the one on the left. Just as the same with the right bell, whenever you hit the left bell, you get a refresh on your boost and you can immediately boost again. You will also want to make sure that you're tilting your left stick forward the entire time you are attacking these bells. You do not have to aim at them because Astrobot will auto-target both of them. These enemies covering the bumper will be moving out of your way at this point, and whenever you boost toward them, if you hit one of them, it is completely fine. You will not get killed by them unless you are way too far out on the left or right edge. If you hit this bumper in the most efficient manner, you will find that when you get to the top that you can land on the ground and immediately start boosting. There will be moments whenever you get stalled by these enemies as they are moving out of the way. If that happens, it's completely fine. Just when you get to the top, make sure to do a mid-air spin, or if you're really low, you may need to do a small hover. This will cost you a little bit of time, but it won't be much at all. When you do get to the top, you will need to do an immediate small burst in order to get rid of this yellow spike enemy. And now we have these 2 platforms of honeycombs that have bee stingers coming out of them. These stingers are not on a global cycle, which means that they only activate whenever you get up here to the very top. So when you do reach the top, you will get the same cycle every time, which makes this a little easier to learn. When you have boosted through the yellow spike enemy, you will need to do a medium to long range boost to make it onto this platform where all the stingers are. You will need to tilt your left stick slightly to the left as well because we want to get onto the left side whenever we get on top of this platform up here. As soon as you land on this honeycomb platform, you will need to do a small boost. Once you do that, you will need to do a small jump and then a small boost in order to get on top of this rock platform in front of you. This does not have to be a big jump, it only needs to be a 2-frame jump before you start boosting again. If done correctly, you should be on this left side. Just as with the platform before, we will need to do a medium to long boost in order to make it to this next platform with the honeycombs and stingers. It is important that whenever you boost to this honeycomb floor below you, that you go for this honeycomb on the far left. This is the closest one and it will make doing this next boost a lot easier to pull off. When you are at the correct spot, make sure that as you're falling that you go ahead and hold the boost and buffer this next boost so that way you can get it as quick as possible. If you try to time it whenever you hit the honeycomb floor, then there is a good chance that you will get hit by the stingers and you will die and have to start over. If you notice, I start holding my boost way before I hit the honeycomb floor, and whenever I do, Astro will start boosting, and when I see that Astro is boosting, that is whenever I choose to let go, so that way I can get ready to do the next boost. Just as with the previous honeycomb platform, whenever you do your first small boost and get over these stingers, then you will need to do a small jump with the boost, and again, this doesn't have to be a big jump, it only needs to be about 2 frames before you start doing your next boost. Once you get up here, you will see 2 logs that spin. If you're on a good pace, these should be lined up so that way you can immediately start going across them. So all you need to do is you need to do a small burst to get onto this first one, and then while staying on this first one, do a small burst again to get through this purple slime enemy, and then one more small boost that'll go slightly to the right to get onto this next log. When you land on the edge of this last log, you will need to do a longer boost than normal to break this dog medallion on this honeycomb platform, which will knock it down. Once Astro hits the ground, you will need to boost again to get to the edge of this platform, and then you will need to do a small jump and then a boost. Again, it only has to be a couple of frames of a jump. We need to land on the right edge of this leaf platform while avoiding this tentacle as it is swinging by. When you are up here, you will need to do another small jump and boost again, and then when you land, you need to do a boost so that way you don't get caught by this next tentacle that's trying to swing around. This part is pretty tricky and will take a little bit of practice to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. Next, you will need to boost and then break through this glass. If you are at a good time, you will find that this tentacle enemy will actually be out of your way and you can easily get through this next section. Once you have broken through the glass, you just need to do 2 short bursts, then 1 slightly longer one at the end to make sure that you make it to this dog bounce pad. This will put you on a hexagonal platform that has breakable glass on it. Just make sure you immediately do a small boost to get to this next hexagonal platform and try to land as far on the right side of this platform as you can. You will need to do a jump and a boost to make it to this next glass barrier. You can make it without jumping, but there is a risk that you will run into these tentacles. And when you jump from this hexagonal platform, if you're on the far right edge, you will find that you will get a small nudge forward. If done correctly, you actually won't break the glass when you get here, but you should be able to land on this edge. From this ledge, you will need to do 3 small boosts to break through the glass and then make it to this trampoline at the end of the tunnel. You want to try to land as far on the left side of this trampoline as you can, and then do a small boost about 4 frames after you hit the trampoline. If done correctly, you should land somewhere around this area on this platform. When you do another small boost to hit this next trampoline, if you are on a good pace, this bounce pad to your left should be available. When you boost and hit this bounce pad, you want to do it on the far right edge of it as you can and as low as you possibly can to where you make it onto this next platform. We do it as low as we can in order to save more time, and then we do it on the far right edge to do a good setup on the next section. You will be propelled on top of these 3 platforms with a Brier that is charging toward you. Once you land on this platform, what you need to do is a small boost toward this Brier as it is charging toward you, and then you want to land on top of this middle platform before you fall off to the left. It is imperative that you land on this platform before you fall off to the left, because that is what is going to refresh our boost so that way we can get it in midair. Once you have landed there and then fall off to the left, you need to do a small hover, and this Brier should pass you without touching you. If you did this successfully, all you need to do is a long boost to make sure that you make it to this trampoline at the end of the last platform. As you are hitting this trampoline, you will need to point your camera down again because there are a few bells, but more importantly, we want to make sure that the final bell does not activate until we get there. You will need to do medium to long boost in order to get in between each of these platforms where the bells are, and you want to land as close to the inside edge as you possibly can before you do your next boost, so that way you have to travel less time. Doing this also allows you to start your next boost earlier as well. Once you get across all of those platforms and then make it to the end where this one flips, the big bell should still be asleep. Do a small boost from the flipping platform to land in front of the big bell, and then do another small boost to destroy the big bell, and when you hit the ground, do a small jump and then a short boost in order to end the stage. Just like all the other jumps, it only has to be about a 2-frame jump in order to reach this button. And as always, here is a clip of me using these strategies in a run. And that is how you get a world top time in thrust or bust. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it helped you. And as always, if you need additional help, feel free to join my Discord or the Speedrun.com Astrobot Discord, for there are more people in that Discord that can help you than just me. And if you ever want to see me attempt some of these stages live, be sure to follow me on Twitch, where I do my live streams over there, and I will see you all in the next video when the next stage drops. So thanks for watching, and good luck with your runs.